G'day folks. Well, for a little equipment autopsy tonight, I picked up another old computer from the junkyard today. It was the only computer I could find lying around, and since it's fairly old, I figured it's worth autopsying. You might notice I also picked up an arc welder. They're pretty much a dime a dozen now, and I figured I need a good transformer core to rewind with some railway cable, much like photonic induction did. Melting stuff, melting hand tools and bolts and things. Many thousands of amps. So that's coming up next. But for now, let's just take apart this rather nasty abused old computer. It's a Compaq Deskpro 590. As you can see, it's seen better days. The casing's all bent and mangled. It did get tipped out of a bin from a height of about 15 feet, so crashing to the ground in a pile of scrap metal and having scrap metal fall on top of it wasn't the kindest thing to do, so more than likely this will be a complete autopsy. Well, I'm going to tear it all to bits. I don't have room for such a beat up old thing, but we'll see what parts we can pillage from it or even find good homes for. It does have a CD-ROM drive, so it's not one of the early ones which had a 5¼ inch floppy drive in them, but it's old enough. Probably early 90s, maybe an early Pentium, even. No, it wouldn't be a 486 DX2 or something, it'd probably be an early Pentium. Let's take the cover off and find out, instead of just standing here wondering what it is. Okay, well this thing is dirty and old. Very dirty. Already popped the graphics card out. It's got a Matrox MGA power graphics. IS Athena 82. No, R2. Okay. Texas Instruments video. Oh yeah. It's an original Compaq card, of course. Even has that colour and layout of the PCB like the mainboard. Mainboard's fairly basic. Texas Instruments for Compaq. AMD, PC Cent, trademark PCI 2. It's got onboard networking. Very early networking, probably 10 megabit at the most. What's our CPU? No fan on the CPU either, and there's no fan in sight in the rest of the case. So it's purely passive cooled. Oh, it's stuck to the CPU. It's definitely a Pentium. i133, so it's a Pentium 133. And it's glued to the heatsink by the compound. Okay, I was right about it not being a 486. I didn't think it would be. Is that 4 megabytes? 2 times 4? 8 and 8, 16. Maybe 32 meg if we're lucky. Not much RAM. It's the old EDO RAM. Yes, I remember that stuff very well. Samsung, Korea. Yeah, original part number, Compaq. Anyway, where's the hard drive? Down in there, looks like a no, what is that? It's a quantum. Looks like a quantum fireball. Notice the not so industry standard colour coding on the wires. Orange is 5 volts in this. No, orange is 12 volts in this case instead of yellow. On modern ATX power supplies, orange is 3.3 volts. But the red and black is correct. Yes, strange. You wouldn't get a normal AT power or ATX power supply to fit this thing. Speaking of power, I should put it back together again and see if it boots up. I do have a spare monitor floating around, so why not? Okay, let's see what this old thing can do. I've got a display set up and power. Hard drive's working, somewhat. RAM check. 32 meg. Yep, I was right. You gonna boot, or is the hard drive taking that much of a hit that it won't? Ah, it works. Wow, like this thing took a bad hit when it came out of the bin. Like it spuckled the case, and I even needed bolt cutters to get the bloody holding bolt out. It's taken a fair whack. CPU is still going to be cold, but we'll give it a minute. I'll get my infrared thermometer out and see what it does. Frozen on startup. More than likely. Oh no, still going. Poor old hard drive. That housing's all smashed away in the impact. Power button was jammed on, like it was just smashed in there. I'm surprised that even worked. No mouse. Sort of like the first time I had my computer. I spent about 3 or 4 months with no mouse because the onboard controller was dead. I used keyboard commands on Windows 98 for the first 4 or 6 months that I had my computer. Select user's name, Amanda. I figured it'd be a girl since it's got stickers on the front cover. I know. Escape fixes that problem. Windows 98, not exactly the best for internet or login security. Even Windows today ain't that crash hot. Well, considering the impact this thing took, it's actually working. Something's missing as usual. Windows 98 bullshit. Slowly warming up. Maybe if I get some warmth into it and then suddenly pop the heatsink off, it might actually come off without taking the rest of the processor with it. That's the thing, they get stuck on. You got to hit them with a heat gun and try and break it down before you can get the heatsink off them. Hell, I've even had some Pentium 4s get, or I believe it was a Pentium 4, it was a Pentium 4 2.8, and the heatsink was so badly stuck to the top of the CPU chip that it actually pulled the metal cap off it. Mind you, I was being destructive with it. I didn't intend on keeping it, but it pulled the metal cap on top of that Pentium 4 chip clean off the printed circuit part of it. I did have one floating around here before that I could have demonstrated with, but God knows where that one went. I just sort of piffed it down here because all the pins were bent. Oh, there it is, it's down under the generator. But you know the ones, if you work with Pentium 4s and Celerons and that sort of thing of that era, they have a metal cap permanently attached to the CPU. And I just ripped the heatsink clean off the board at the scrapyard, and the metal cap came with it, and the rest of the chip was still stuck in the socket. It probably melted itself in there. Bad fan failure. Yeah, warming up. Center clip's 32.5. MSN Messenger is up. Cancel dial-up networking. Close, bugger off. That's in the start menu. I'm going to pull this computer to bits anyway. It's not worth keeping it as it is. Bubble jet printer, old Epson bubble jet. Kazaa Media desktop. Kazaa, that's something I haven't heard of in a while. God. Music. Oh, hang on. Oh, I'm leaning on the enter key, that's why it entered it. Anyway, we're loading Windows Media Player. At least there's no cheesy desktop images or anything. If it was a girl's computer, I'd at least expect some kind of boy band or something on the desktop. Oh, not QuickTime 3. No, later. Funny thing is, it doesn't respond to keyboard commands. Close. Close movie player. Try again. Yes, damn it. Well, overall this thing seems to be working. Not that there's any point in keeping it in one piece. These old Compaqs were terrible dinosaurs. I've never been a big fan of Compaq, especially those damn screws. They're a Torx screw. At least they have the dignity to put a slot in it so you can use a normal screwdriver. But yeah, not what I'd call an industry standardizing thing. Not when everyone else is using normal screws that they still use today, like these ones. Yes, everyone else was using these, and Compaq decided to use those old cheesehead screws with a slot and a Torx drive bit in it. Well, there really isn't much in here. What's Game Master? Solitaire, Mahjong. Usual crap for a computer at this age. Anyway, is my CPU warmed up? Yep. I can probably remove that now. I can try and do it one-handed. This will be a good little test. See how long it takes to cook the CPU. Don't worry, I've already got a box of these damn CPUs. Oh, that's better, yep. Once you get a bit of heat into it, the bloody heatsink wants to come off. $40. Ooh, that's getting hot. What can we run to make it get real hot? Probably not much. 45, 46. Where's Windows Media Player? Here we go, load up MS Excel. $50, getting hotter. Well, I didn't seem to mind doing that. Faster than some of the newer computers I worked on. I need a game or a video or something. Damn it. Damn it. Anywho. Almost up to 60. Oh, yeah. Depends where you aim it. I think this thermometer's a bit off. What, 70? You can feel the heat coming off that now. Anyway, that's the end of that one. I'm not going to murder it. Not that there's any point. Yeah, let's strip this thing down, have a look at the hard drive, all that sort of stuff. I've got a whole box of hard drives, so I might as well dismantle this one. Okay, well, while the rest of the computer is now consigned to the void, also known as the scrap metal trailer, the hard drive is even an original item. Probably factory original. It's a 1080 AT, so what's that, a 1 gigabyte? Something like that. I forgot to check exactly what it is. Even has AT&T chipset on it. Interesting. Either way, let's open it up. Completely useless these days, so might as well dismantle it. Well, looking at the disc surface area, there is a contact point there. I've tried rubbing those and those aren't dirt, those are actually dings in the dent, probably from the head. Yeah, physical shock has damaged the disc and the head. I'm surprised the damn thing even booted. I'm guessing the operating system's on one of the other disc surfaces, but that surface there is trashed. Probably the whole head. Yeah, it did not want to work. So yeah, that's the end of that one. There's not really much to a hard drive apart from 2 magnets and a voice coil to move the head assembly, the heads themselves, and a magnetic disc platter, plus the required control electronics. So that's the end of that one, and thanks for watching.